Hey, this is Ed Alexander with the Entrepreneurship Law Firm, and this is the Business Killing Mistakes blog. A lot of times I get calls from people who are looking to bring in partners for quote-unquote sweat equity. And typically this involves the new guy doing a bunch of work and getting stock in return. There's a couple of problems that come up with this. The first is the business owner is usually giving the stock in advance of getting the services, and that's a big no-no. You want to make sure that whatever you're getting from that person is in accordance with the agreement, that it actually meets the requirements before you issue any stock to that person. And this can be done through a written agreement, whether it's a contractor agreement or otherwise. But the second and potentially bigger problem is that giving stock to somebody who performs services for a corporation is the same as though you gave that person money and they handed that money back to you in exchange for the stock. And that means that that is taxable income to that person. And if that person is an employee, whether you want to call them an employee or they're a statutory employee, then potentially the business has to withhold certain amounts of taxes and then pay them to the appropriate government, whether it's federal or state, FICA, Social Security, and Medicaid. The problem, obviously, is that, hey, we don't have cash to be able to do that. Otherwise, we'd pay that person in cash and not pay them in stock. So the way to get around this is to do a restricted stock grant. What happens is the person comes in, they get the stock initially before the agreement is done, but that stock can be forfeited if they don't perform the services. The benefit of this is that when the stock is provided to that person, the value of the stock on the day it's provided can be the value that that person declares on their taxes. So by way of example, if we start out early and that person is getting stock very early in the startup phase, and then ultimately the services to be performed over a year or 2 years, then hopefully that stock will increase substantially in value over that period of time because that person has provided the services. If that doesn't work, and that's not an option, you can create a stock option plan. And essentially what you do there is you give the person who's providing the sweat equity, the ability to buy shares of the company at a set price. If this is done in accordance with the tax requirements, then there's no taxable event on the date the options are granted. And so that person then can hold on to those options for up to 10 years. And if the company sells, they exercise their options and then sell the stock back to the company or to the buyer, and effectively make the same amount of money as they would have had they owned the stock in the first place. Now there are some tax issues that have to be dealt with in this, so it's a little bit of a complicated area, but it's important to know that you need tax and legal advice before you do any deal like this. Well, that's it. If you have any questions on this issue, feel free to go to my website. There's a bunch of free articles and information. It's www.entrepreneurshiplawfirm.com. You can also give me a call at 407-649-7777. Thanks, and see you next time.